So I meant to record this yesterday, but clearly I didn't mean to because I didn't. So it's happening now. And it's probably better. It's better this way. I'm trusting that everything that happens, the way that it happens, is better that way. That's what I'm trusting. Because it's true. What I wanted to say is that there's there's a big wave moving through right now. We're being infused. This has happened over and over and over again. No surprise, everything moves in cycles. If I sound like a broken record, it's because I'm a working record. And I'm repeating myself. Massive shift, blah, 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 blah. We're at a choice point. We've reached a choice point. There are other people talking about this. It's not a choice that you make with your mind. The choice we're making right now is to accept, is to surrender, is to allow more light in, is to allow the best possible thing. And what that means is trusting that the best possible thing is what's happening. That's really how we lock that into place. Saying that my highest timeline, my best life, my highest version of reality is the version I am living right now. And just believing that, just trusting that, realizing that's how it works. It's just that you don't have to make it happen. You don't have to change to make yourself into your highest version. It's just believing. It's just saying, oh, whatever is happening, the life experience that I am living is my best life. The timeline that is unfolding before me is my highest timeline. The reality that I am creating is my perfect version. That's it. And then I'm just trusting, I'm knowing that that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Everything is unfolding the very best possible way. And then I'm just here for it. I am here for the unfolding of what is the most amazing potential life experience that could possibly be. We're being injected, infused with a lot of very positive energy, very, very high vibrational. Just means pure. That's it. That's all it means. It just means it's not cluttered by doubt and confusion and misdirection. That's all that means. It's a very pure, it's consistent, it's essential, it's what it says it is. It's a clearing energy, it's clearing our vision, and actually it's a sort of jailbreak that's happening. But instead of us being removed from prison, prison is being removed from us. And that's a whole different feeling. Because it's one thing to take a prisoner out of prison. You remove a prisoner from prison and very likely they're going to end up back there. Not because they're a bad person, not because that's where they belong, because that's what they're familiar with. Because they've become accustomed to living in that prison. Many of us have been inhabiting a prison without realizing it. The mental prison. The prison created by the mind, which is one of delusion and illusion and fear. It's fear-based creation. So we've been in the mental prison, and everything that we've experienced internally reflects externally, becomes our outward experience. So really it's just by looking at the outward experience, we can tell what's going on inside. There's been a lot of fear. There's been a lot of fear and repression, right? Denial of self, denial of authentic expression, rejection of various parts of ourselves. It's only the rejection of parts of ourselves that leads to the rejection of others externally, and that's just a reflection, again, of what we're rejecting in ourselves. But it's shifting. It's changing. Enough of us have said enough I just want to love. I want to love myself. I want to accept myself. And when you accept yourself, you are accepting all self. You stop seeing so many flaws in other people when you stop finding them in you. You start becoming truly forgiving, truly loving. Loving not in the egoic attachment and judgment way, which is not love at all. Love doesn't judge. Love has discernment. That's a totally different thing. And you start loving unconditionally. Because we've been practicing this, and enough of humanity has made this decision to move that direction, things are shifting externally. And it's speeding up. It's only going to keep speeding up. It's going to keep picking up the pace. We're going to hit bumps along the way. We've already done that. But we're at the crest of something right now. And it is a choice point. We still have the option, because everything is a choice. We have free will. We still have the option to go back. We have the option to go back to prison, but this time it's not going to be as easy. Previously, being removed from prison, it was pretty easy to just walk back into the prison and say, I don't know, out here is big and scary. I think I'm just going to go back where I felt safe because things were familiar. I could recognize my surroundings in the prison. Now, the prison walls are being blown up. That's a whole different scenario. Now, if we want to go back to prison, we have to rebuild that prison. It's not as simple a matter of, well, I'll just walk myself back in to these patterns that I've been inhabiting for however long. Things are being dismantled internally and externally. So it's not going to be as easy to just fall back into those old patterns anymore. It's going to take effort, actually. But the other part of it is how scary it is. So the prison is being blown up. Not just us released from it, but actually destroyed. And that means we don't have somewhere to just go back to. This place that we were familiar with, this place that we were comfortable with existing in, these parameters, this very familiar landscape of limitation does not exist anymore. It is being removed. So first of all, there's going to be grieving that goes along with that, because that's experienced as a loss. There's going to be a lot of grieving. There already is. And second, there's going to be a lot of fear, because now it's all a big unknown. We don't know where to go. We're not familiar with this new terrain that we find ourselves upon, and we can't just turn around and go back into the cave. The cave is gone. So expect, or maybe just be aware, expect, that's the wrong word for this. Be aware that there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of grief floating around right now as a result of this infusion of energy. You have the power of your perspective to recognize that this is all working out for you, in the same way that maybe being in a hospital can feel really scary, and there's a lot of uncertainty and fear there. But you can also shift that perspective into seeing, I am in the very best place for me. I am taken care of here. I am in the place where everything can be done for me like that, where I can be provided for by people who know exactly what they're doing. And if you can lean into that trust that your soul and the rest of yourself knows exactly what it's doing, and that it is benefiting you, then you can relax into it a little bit more. And that doesn't mean you run away. We're not trying to repress the fear. We're not trying to stop it. We're just relaxing enough to welcome whatever is in. So fear included, grief absolutely included. Recognizing these things are not bad. They're not a problem. They don't signal a problem. They're a part of healing. So the only choice, the only thing you need to do, and you don't need to, it's a choice. You have the option to be closed off to it or to be open to it. That's it. That's it. So if you want to make that choice, you just say right now in this moment, I am open to receive what is coming through. I am trusting that it is good. I am trusting that it is the highest good, and I'm open to receive it. That's it. And then as much as you can, keep yourself out of intellectualization. Keep yourself out of the intellectual space. There are going to be questions. Those questions do not need to be answered. They don't. Ultimately, it's a distraction. All of the asking of why and wanting to understand is a distraction. It's because the mind doesn't feel safe in this unknown, the space of pure feeling. It's a distraction. Notice questions, notice whatever arises, but don't follow them. Recognize when you feel this compulsion kind of pulling you, but I need to know. Recognize that's a safety mechanism, that's a protective mechanism happening in the brain because the brain feels frightened. But following that compulsion is actually avoiding doing the real work that we're asked to do, which is to just sit still in this, to just be open to it, to stop asking why, or at least stop following the mind's asking of why, recognizing that's not you asking why, that is your brain, and that's okay. You don't have to follow it. Just let it do that. There are going to be a lot of voices. There's going to be a lot of chatter. None of those voices are you. None of those voices are you. You don't need to listen. Don't listen to any of those voices that rise up in the mind. Just be open. Just receive the experience, the feeling. Just feel into this moment. What is the feeling content of this moment? And then whatever it is, just feel it. Just feel it. It's okay if a label pops up. It's okay. Just stay in the feeling space. Don't follow the labels into conceptualization, into thought. Just notice them. Stay in the feeling space. So that's it. There's a lot of fear and grief floating around. There's no need to be surprised or feel afraid. Of course, whatever you feel is perfectly fine. I just felt compelled to share this because I did. That's it. I'm not questioning it. If you feel fear, grief, anxiety, other forms of agitation, but I feel it primarily is those kinds of things. It's just energy moving through. There's a collective thing happening. Notice what it triggers in you. Notice what thoughts come up in you, and just notice them. We're just being open to this moment and what's happening within it. We're not trying to understand. We're not trying to analyze or pick apart or explain. There is energy moving through. You have one choice, and that is to be closed to it or to be open to it. And all you do to be open to it is repeatedly, as often as you find yourself there, say to yourself, I am open to feeling what's here. I am open to receiving this moment fully. And then be still. Listen. Listen with your whole body. You don't need to think. You don't need to ask why. Thinking is really just following thoughts. That's what I mean by that. Just be still. Be here. Be aware. That's it. I do feel that this energy is peaking around the full moon, which I think is on the 19th of August, but it will be here this entire month. And that's not coming just for me. That's whatever. It doesn't matter. Also, listen to your own inner authority more than anything else. If something resonates with you, listen to the voice inside of you. It's not because of anything that was said here. It's because something that you already knew, that there's information that you already know. Put your own inner authority first. And if this doesn't resonate with you, then throw it out the window. Please, please listen to yourself more than anything. That's it. I love you. Have a beautiful day.